Hey guys, my name's Hudson Wheeler, and my mini lesson is for 5th grade students in the state of South Dakotas, and my standards go in the state of South Dakota. And my mini lesson will be towards for learning how to use GPS coordinates to locate different areas of the world, such as like different using the longitude and latitude coordinates just to locate separate different parts of the world. So simply my rationale is just to have them like use a hands-on like activity to actually like figure out where they can go with just GPS units. All they need is just certain sets just to go figure out where they are going. And the standards that are going to be applied are apply longitude and latitude and longitude to find absolute locations on a globe and map, investigate maps of different styles and scales. This one we will be using maps, but we'll get more into the list of materials soon. But we'll investigate maps of different types and scales. So, and then explain how cultural and environmental characteristics affect the distribution of movement of people, goods, and ideas. Explain how human settlements and movements relate to the locations of use of various natural resources. So pretty much in essence, they're just going to be locating, getting a certain set of latitude and longitude sets and locating that area on the map. And they'll also be using a different globe and just different like online things. So they'll just use different resources of figuring out, locating them. And then once they locate those areas, they will take those, once they find the area that they have located, they're going to do some studying on it and learn like what the resources they have, all the like what their climate's like and why people want to live there and how many people live there and why it does affect how many people that do live there. Essentially, the lesson objective is to have the students able to locate just various urban and rural locations on various types of maps. Students also will identify why human populations may choose to live in these areas. So they'll just wonder why people live there and why people don't live there. So they'll learn how to figure out if they want to live there or not. It's a pretty small list of materials. Simply just the teacher-made worksheet that includes a list of GPS coordinates for the students to find. Writing utensil, a map, a globe, and then we'll need a projector for the beginning of the procedure. So, because the introduction, we'll need the projector for, just so I can demonstrate, just to show how to students to do it, because most of them probably will not understand how to use it. So essentially, well, for introduction, the teacher will discuss longitude and latitude and the function of where it function and how it affects locating areas on the map, and then should ask the students to create a list of reasons why someone would want to live in a certain area. After the students have generated a good list, ask them whether to discuss to their students to their right. So that'll help just to learn more different reasons of why someone would want to live in certain areas. And then have a class discussion about the students' list and project them on the class so everyone can see. So this way the entire class will be able to all demonstrate their examples of why they believe certain areas would be likable to live in and certain areas would not be likable to live in. And that way you can all talk about it as a class and then put it up on the board so everyone can see them all at once and compare theirs to the whole entire classes, which is important for students to understand where they're at compared to everyone else. They want to make sure everyone is on the right page before we're going into like letting all the students go out on their own. So before you have to let them go out on their own, you're going to have to be using this. You'll use the projector to demonstrate where to find where we are at currently. So we'll consider, I'll just say we're in Rapid City, so then we'll put the longitude and latitude sets on the board and to show exactly where the students will be able to go and find those and mark it, and they'll show exactly where Rapid City is at. So it's a nice little example for the students to be able to like just see it firsthand, like how it's used and where it shows, and it's easy for them to do it at home because it's something that's commonly known for them, so it's easier to remember. And then then we'll try to find a new location. You'll give them, as a class, you'll give them the whole class a brand new set of locations, like coordinates, and you'll have them all give them like 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and then just to let them figure it out on their own. No, not 5 minutes actually, like only like 1 minute. Now that I think about it. So then you will do that, and then you'll, as a class, discuss more about where they found. So we'll ask students if they found the right area, and then if the students did not find the right area, you'll work with the students that didn't find the right area to make sure they understand exactly how to find that right area. So that's a good way to make sure that all the students are on the right track before releasing them out into the general, like the worksheet on their own. So this will help. And then once you get to everyone on the same right page, I'm gonna have you divide each groups into 2 students. So just pair each student up and give them the worksheet that has a set of 5 coordinates on them. And once you do that, the students will just go on their own and locate each of those locations using just the set of coordinates. And if they have any questions, you would be walking around and making sure everyone's on the right track, answering whatever questions, whatever students any need. So that will help the students make sure they're actually getting the right answers and not studying the wrong countries when they didn't want to get that area because they just located the wrong area. So that's important. So the teacher is walking around and ensuring that the students are in fact locating the correct coordinates. And then as the students do find the correct coordinate locations, they will then want to study and learn about that country in itself, and study like the climate in it and the resources, like the natural resources they have in it, like all the gas and all the like oil and anything like wildlife. They want to study on that, and then they want to compare that into like how many people are living there and whether that is affecting how many people are living there or not living there, and then discuss whether if there's too many people living there for the amount of resources they have, or there's actually a place where there's a lot of resources where there are not a lot of people living. So there's a lot of different things to be unfolded in it for the students so they can actually learn about many different things and how the world works. And hopefully throughout the lesson, students will just glance over the whole globe and map and just learn more geographically, like diverse areas. And once they begin doing that, they'll start learning more about each of the neighboring countries and whether the resources affect those countries and how those affect the relationships between each country, and whether or not they actually do have positive relationships and how they are able to provide for the individuals throughout the countries. At this point, most of the time, the students should be able to discuss about whether the coordinates do locate certain areas, and they will be able to have a conversation with groups that have located the same areas, and they will discuss whether they identified the similar resources and climate, and according to those numbers and how much people live into them. And most of all, they will be able to discuss how it